That brings us to our next game. San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Sweet Jesus. Now, I'll be honest, this game went pretty much how I thought it would go, except for the end result. And I'll be honest, I had the Eagles winning. I had them winning. I'll be honest about it. But they were not even in my Super Bowl predictions. So that tells you I didn't have them going to the Super Bowl. So what this means is just a better draft pick and an earlier start to finding your offensive coordinator replacement. So in a lot of ways, losing in the wild card round as opposed to losing in the divisional round or the NFC Championship game is actually better for those reasons. Now, yes, I had the Eagles winning. Why? Because as good as Shanahan is at designing and play calling an offense, I figured Vic Fangio would at least neutralize it. No, we weren't going to hold him to 3 points or 10 points, but they sure as hell weren't going to score in the 30s. And I thought this predictable, elementary, simple offense could push around a non-existent 49ers defense who you can't even name who's on their defense. They were bringing up 38-year-old guys off the street to play linebacker. I figured regardless of how simple, regardless of how just absolutely just elementary this offense is, that we would at least be able to move the ball and score points. Clearly not. Now, when the 49ers opened up and scored a touchdown on their opening drive, I wasn't that concerned. They got that one big play to Robinson, but for the most part, I was like, whatever, the defense will adjust. Because that's usually what they do. Teams will usually score on us early in the game, and then it kind of neutralizes. Vic Fangio figures out, what they're trying to do, and he makes adjustments, and we stop them. So I wasn't too concerned when the Niners jumped out to a 7-0 lead. I was also encouraged when I saw the Eagles move the ball down the field. Now, it was slow. We didn't have any great big plays or anything, but it was just a methodical, long play drive down the field. And we did it again and again in the first quarter. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. So not only is the 49ers defense banged up and dreadful, we're also going to wear them out. I think we had 10 minutes more of time of possession in the first half than the Niners did. We're going to wear them out. We went into halftime with the lead, a small lead, but the lead nonetheless, and we were going to come out in the second half with the ball with a chance to go up by 2 scores. At that point, game over, match, bye-bye 49ers. It was the same thing as the Buffalo game. I don't know where the Eagles go in the second half. You realize we beat the Bills at the Bills. The Bills have a very real chance of going to and winning the Super Bowl. We beat them at their place just a couple weeks ago. That's what makes you want to pull your hair out when you watch this team, because you know what they're capable of. We beat the Rams. People say, well, you took 2 blocked field goals. We beat them the last 3 times, including the playoffs. We beat the Packers. We beat the Lions. We just beat the Bills 2 or 3 weeks ago at their place. We are capable of beating really good teams. And when you look at the freaking playoff landscape, who the hell is this juggernaut? The Rams have issues in their secondary. That's how you can beat them, is throw on those corners. They're not a juggernaut. They almost lost to the Panthers. They did lose to the Panthers a few weeks ago. They can be had. The Seahawks, for as good as that defense is, the offense is a little, You just look over the AFC, there's no juggernauts over there. The Eagles had the best path in the world to go and repeat. The best opportunity in the world. But that offense just completely wasted it. Wasted a great opportunity, and we saw it all year long. You're down 4 points. I'm not going to make the excuse that, well, if Elliott didn't miss the extra point, we got to the 20. We could have kicked a field goal and we went in overtime, and then who knows? No, because they missed an extra point too. I don't it is what it is. You're down 4 points. You get all the way down to the San Francisco 20-yard line. Anything can happen. Devontae Smith makes that catch. Now you're first and goal at the 6. For as simple as the Eagles' offense is everywhere else, they're actually pretty creative down near the goal line. So we likely win. We likely win the game. We likely win the game if he catches that ball. It was high. Had both hands on it. Should have been caught. If AJ catches that one, that was, again, thrown a little too high. But if he catches that one, he's probably still running. It's a touchdown. Now you're asking the defense with a minute left or wherever it is to hold. On 1st and 10 at that 20, Jalen Hurts is looking, doesn't say anything he likes, and he goes to take off running, and there is a massive opening right there. He gets inside the 10-yard line, but he gets his ankles tripped up, and it's a sack, basically. He loses 1 yard, and now it's 2nd 11. Any number of those plays goes different. Eagles likely win that game. That's how close. Most games are, really, but that's how close that game came down. That's how close. How close. Just any one of those different plays happen, and it's a different story. Why do I not care? Here's why. Number one, it shouldn't have been that close. With the different talent that was on each team, the Eagles should have mopped the floor with the San Francisco 49ers. Eagles should have mopped the floor with them. Simple. So do you really feel great about it? Second, the Eagles are losing in their next game. And if somehow, some way, they get out of Chicago with the win, which I don't think they do, but if they do, now you're going to go to Seattle or you're going to host the Rams. You ain't getting out of that one. So it's like, who cares? Who cares? Let's say if any one of those plays go differently. Now, you're not going to get a San Francisco 49er fan to agree to this, but the game was so damn close. Any number of little different things happen, Eagles win. But it doesn't matter. That's the thing. They're just going to lose in the next round or the round after that. Like they weren't going anywhere. This was not a Super Bowl team. And you could see it all year long. My team has only won 2 Super Bowls. 2. And in both those years, you could feel it pretty much all through the year. I know there was a little bit of drama with A.J. Brown, especially after that Carolina win that we had where we barely beat the Panthers. And he was talking about passing as a problem. I know there was a little bit of drama there. I get it. And there was a little bit of drama after we beat the Browns with Sirianni going after the fans. And, is he going to be fired and blah, blah, blah. There was a little bit of drama last year, even with it. But still, the way we played and the way we were beating teams, you could feel that there was dominance there. In 2017, now it was with Carson Wentz for most of it, but you could still feel the way we were dominating teams. You could just feel it. This year, you couldn't feel it. You couldn't feel it. You felt like, even though we were winning, God, every game felt like a loss. Like it was just like, good Lord. And that's the thing. Could we beat the 49ers? Yes. Could we beat the Bears? I believe we could. Could we beat the Seattle Seahawks? Yes. Could we beat the Rams? Yes, we did beat the Rams. That's the thing. This team has the talent to where if they just find a little bit of lightning, they could beat a team. Like I said, they beat the Bills just a couple weeks ago at the Bills. The problem is you can't expect for everything to go right for 4 games in a row. The margin of error for this team was too small. That's basically what it comes down to. You want a team that at the end of the year is so good that the margin of error is as big as you can get it. Because you're not going to play your absolute best game every single week. It just doesn't happen like that. So you want your margin of error to be really, really good. Last year, the Eagles' margin of error was huge. Why? Because they had an amazing, dare I say, historic run game they could count on. They could just go back to it. So if the passing game was not lighting it up, well, just hand it off to Saquon Barkley. Let that defense eat. This year, man, you didn't have the run game. You're asking your defense to play out of their freaking mind week in and week out while you go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, hoping that at some point you scratch together a drive or make a play somewhere, somehow to win the game. That's called having a very, very small margin of error. And look, it can work. Like I said, we beat the Rams. We beat the Bills. We've beaten the Packers and the Lions. We've beaten some really good teams this year. You just can't expect that small margin of error to carry you again and again and again and again and again through the playoffs. So when it comes to next year, I hope the Eagles find a way to have a bigger margin of error. That's what it comes down to. That's literally the best way to sum it up. You want a bigger margin of error. Who's at fault? The Eagles already replaced their offensive coordinator. Now, we can argue whether it was just him or not, but it was definitely part of him. The people that are trying to sit there and say it's just Jalen Hurts and that it's not Kevin Patullo, blah, 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 you're losing your mind. I watched the All-22. I see the offensive play calls. I see the sequencing. And I'm like, what are we doing? For example, the last play of the Eagles season, 4th and 11 at the 21-yard line. The Eagles, their season on the line, run 4 verticals into quarters coverage, into cover 4 coverage. Like, that is the easiest play to stop in quarters coverage. Your season on the line. That's what you're calling? 4 people go out. Just go deep. For all 4 of you. That's your season on the line play call. And when you look at the sideline view, the camera's catching up to Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and Kevin Patullo all standing there. Who's the one talking? It's Kevin Patullo. He's the one calling the play. I wish Jalen Hurts would have said, no, fuck you, or did something at the line of scrimmage like, I'm not calling all verticals. I don't know. Hey, look, Jalen Hurts did not play great that game. There were some passes that were dropped. Hey, look, NFL wide receiver, you get paid millions of dollars. You get both hands on the ball. You catch the ball in a playoff game. It's literally what you're being paid for. I don't care that it wasn't a nice, rosy-dozy little perfect little pass that you like so well. Like, no, you're a freaking NFL receiver getting paid millions of dollars. AJ Brown, you want to sit there and call yourself one of the best in the game? Fucking go up and get it. Period. With that said, yes, Jalen Hurts could have played a better ball, could have played better. There were some receivers that were open that he missed. For sure. I don't know why he didn't run more. Like, it's the playoffs, Jalen. Run. If you think that you're just going to sit back and be a pocket passer the rest of your career and you're going to be one of the best in the game to do it, you're sadly mistaken. That's not your game. It will never be your game. I'm not saying he's a bad passer. I'm not. All you Jalen fanboys, not saying he's a bad passer. I believe he can make every single throw and that he's more accurate than people give him credit for. But him throwing on time, in rhythm, that's not his game. I know a lot of people want McDaniel as the OC. That's not the best fit for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doing the whole like play action, then passing like on time, and like that's just not his game. If it all things equal, yeah, that McDaniel is who I'd want. But I don't know if that's necessarily Jalen Hurts' game. I'm not a Jalen Hurts hater or a fanboy. I don't care if he gets benched, traded, starter. I don't care. I want whatever is best for the Eagles. And it's frustrating because the Eagles don't open up about anything. We don't know the inner workings. I know what I see on the All-22. I know that the play calls and the sequencing does not make sense. It's simple as hell. And I don't have a problem with simple per se. I don't. You don't have to be like a Sean McVay masterclass of offense and motions everywhere and this and that and everything. You don't have to be that. But the things they did made no damn sense and were the easiest in the world to predict and to defend. Whose fault is that? If you're saying Jalen Hurts needs it that way, I'm clueless because it's like, why would you make it harder on yourself? Like, how about some high-low concepts to where it puts a defender, it makes a defender wrong. Regardless of what he chooses, he's wrong. Put defenders in predicaments like that. And the Eagles don't do that. You know, high-low concepts, some more meshes, people crossing over the middle of the field. And, you see, like, I freaking sit back and I'll watch, like, for example, like Jared Goff, those deep dig routes, like just, 20, 30 yards down the field. And guess what? The receiver's still running because it's freaking thrown to a place where the receiver can actually run and catch it in stride. I see all these offenses, like, I'm just like, man, wish we could do stuff like that. So who's at fault? I think Jalen Hurts is limited, so that limits the offense in some ways. I'm not saying that doesn't, but I also have a hard time thinking, like, for example, 4 verticals when your season's on the line to quarters coverage. Why would Jalen Hurts want that? Because I don't care if you're Josh Allen right there. No one was open. Now, maybe Josh Allen buys time and runs or, whatever, puts on the Superman cape and does something crazy. Sure. But I have a hard time thinking Jalen Hurts wants to make it harder on himself. So there's like 2 ways to look at it. People can sit there and say, well, Jalen Hurts isn't good enough. That's why he needs it that way. What do you mean he's not good enough? That's why he needs it that way. Because if he needs it that way, you need an amazing quarterback to be able to make that work because it's so predictable. Defenses, everybody's covered. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You would think if Jalen Hurts is so bad, he needs an offense that's easier to get people open. You know what I mean? I don't. So there's mumblings that it's Jalen Hurts inside the Eagles locker room. Of course, us fans that watch the tape, we see the terrible offense and play calling and everything else. So we hate Patullo. I don't care what it is at this point. I don't. And I think the only people that truly know are the people inside that building. Well, if for whatever reason it is Jalen Hurts, bench him, trade him, get him out of here. But they're not going to do that. Why? Because the Eagles are so damn worried about being politically correct. Well, we can't do that. He won the Super Bowl. We can't bench a Super Bowl MVP. Like, we can't do that. Bitch, why the fuck not? And then you have to think about how much of it is Sirianni. Because I tell you what, I happen to think this has been Sirianni's offense all along. Different play caller, maybe a few different wrinkles here and there. But I happen to think this is Sirianni's offense all along. So here's my thing. Whatever offensive coordinator you have, hey, Sirianni, back the fuck up. You know how Vic Fangio runs his defense? It's his defense. He has full autonomy over it. It's his. You don't fucking butt your nose into that business. Same thing for the offense. You back the fuck up. You stay the hell away. You don't butt your nose into it. You let the offensive coordinator, whoever it is, run their show. That's the only way Sirianni should be allowed to keep his job. And that's another thing. I guarantee you, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman want to fire Nick Sirianni. I guarantee they want to fire him. I guarantee you they do. The only reason why they're not is, again, politics. Well, we just won the Super Bowl. I mean, we can't fire the head coach after 1 year. I mean, he still made the playoffs. He still won the division. So we win the Super Bowl. And then the next year, we win 11 games, win the division, go to the playoffs. And just because he doesn't reach the Super Bowl, we're going to fire him? I get it. It would be a weird look. But who would be knocking on Sirianni's door to hire him as a head coach? Do you think he would get any head coaching opportunities when you fire him? No. He sure as hell won't get any offensive coordinator offerings. Nobody else wants him. So we're stuck in this thing. Like, I want Sirianni gone. I don't like him. It's just word salad every conference. I'm not saying you have to spill the beans and the secrets and everything else. Like, there's some things you got to keep close to the vest. I get it. But he offers nothing. Nothing. You ask him a question at a press conference and he just talks all the way around except answering that question. He offers nothing. He offers nothing. I want Sirianni fired so damn bad. And I'm at the point now, and I'm sorry all you Jalen Hurts lovers, I'm actually at the point now where I want Hurts gone. Why? Man, he's just polarizing for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because he was benched at Alabama, and then he wins the Super Bowl, and it just makes him really polarizing. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm just over it. I'm over the fan base. The NFL world really divided into two. You're either a Jalen Hurts lover or you're a hater. And I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it. I know he's limited. I also know that he can be clutch at times too. And he's great for the franchise. He's never going to say the wrong thing. He's never going to put someone underneath the bus. He's always going to come up to work and show up on time. He's everything. Like he'd be who you want your daughter to date. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to embarrass your franchise or anything like that. There's lots of reasons to like Jalen Hurts. I do think he's limited. And there are times where I'm like, man, I wish we just had a gunslinger back there. Someone who would just like put fear in defenses or put fear in secondaries. With Jalen Hurts, I think you do have to play offense a certain way. I just don't think it needed to be like this. I'm glad Kevin Patullo's gone. So we'll see. We'll see. We're going to hire outside. We go to the Super Bowl and then we hire within Nick Sirianni's friend. And we have a bad year, which still was a playoff year, but a bad year. Then we hire outside. We go to the Super Bowl again. And then we hire within Nick Sirianni's friend. We have a down year. We're hiring outside again. So maybe that means Super Bowl? We'll see. And before I move on, for the record, I don't want to sit there and not give the players their blame. At the end of the day, Like Cam Jurgens and this offensive line has missed way too many blocks. I do think it's a little bit like the defense just completely selling out. And if you have a defense, a whole defense just selling out against the run, it's hard for those 5 guys to just, like there's just no fear of the passing game at all. Just no fear. Teams are just whatever. But you're still missing blocks. You need to be held accountable. Saquon Barkley, there's times where he just doesn't hit the hole like he should. He's dancing a little too much. Like, I think Tank Bigsby last year was a better running back than Saquon Barkley. However unfair that is, that's just what the eye test told me. Receivers dropping passes, Jalen Hurts missing reads or maybe throwing bad balls or not seeing receivers open. At the end of the day, players need to take accountability too. So I don't want people to think that I'm saying that players just get off scot-free. I'm just saying between Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, and Jalen Hurts, there's a problem in there. And it's either one person or a combination of all 3 of them. But there's something there. That little inner circle right there is the main issue. And we don't know exactly everything because the Eagles keep it behind closed doors, which is probably the smart thing for them, but it's frustrating outside because it's like, what's the issue, guys? What's the issue? Is it the quarterback? The quarterback needs everything this way? Like everything, this simplicity, this everything, he needs it this way? Is it the offensive coordinator that you just can't sequence plays together, doesn't get it? Is it Nick Sirianni? This has all been Nick Sirianni's offense all along, and he meddles too much and just won't give offensive coordinators the autonomy to do their own thing. Like, where is it? But I guarantee you it's within that 3 somewhere. That's all I'm saying. One of them's gone. The other 2 remain. I don't know.